What's going on, you guys? Today we're learning the song Island in the Sun by Weezer. Now, real quick before we get into it, I would like to ask that if you find this guitar tutorial helpful, that you please consider subscribing. That would really mean the world to me. Now let's get into it. You are watching Logan's Lessons. Let's start with the intro of this song. This intro starts with our middle finger on the 4th fret of the G string, our 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the B, and our 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the high E. We'll get to the strumming pattern later. Let's get the chords first. So we have this first chord. The second chord is just going to be a bar across the 5th fret of the G, the B, and the high E strings. I like to do that with my 3rd finger. Moving on from there, we go to a D major chord. To play a D major chord, we're going to place our index finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B, and our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the high E string. Okay, last chord we have is a G major chord. To play a G major chord, we're going to place our middle finger on the 4th fret of the G string, and then our 1st finger is going to bar across the 3rd fret of the B and the high E strings. Now let's discuss that strumming pattern. The first chord we have starts with just a down, down, but we need to be very careful to only hit the G, the B, and the high E strings when we're strumming. So the second chord, the A minor, it's going to be an up, down, down. Okay, so we have this down, down, up, down, down. I'll do that slowly. Down, down, up, down, down. Do that with me. Down, down, up, down, down. Then when we get to the D major chord, we have just an up, up. So we have this down, down, up, down, down, up, up. Do that with me. Down, down, up, down, down, up, up. One more time. Down, down, up, down, down, up, up. Then when we get to the G major, we have an up, down, down, just like the A minor chord. So in context, it'll sound like this. Do that whole thing with me. Okay? So that's the intro. Now in the verses, it's quite similar. We have the same chords in the same order. It's just the strumming pattern that changes. So it's the same, but we're just gonna do 2 down strums per chord. Do that with me. And then we get into the pre-chorus. The pre-chorus starts with our 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the G string and our middle finger on the 8th fret of the B. We're going to pick between the G, B, G, B, G, B, G, B. That's 4 times. Okay, just like that. Then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to bar across the 7th fret of the G and the B strings. We're going to pick that twice. And then we're going to place our middle finger back down on the 8th fret of the B string. So that pre-chorus will sound like this. And that loops. After that pre-chorus, we go back into a verse, which is the same as the first verse. Another pre-chorus is just what we just did. And then we're into the chorus. Kick that overdrive on. It's about to get heavy. The chorus is all power chords. Our first power chord is going to be on the 5th fret of the A string. So we put our 1st finger on the 5th fret of the A string, and our 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D, our pinky finger right below that on the 7th fret of the G. Okay? After that, we're going to the 3rd fret of the low E string. That means we're going to need to take the shape up a string and back 2 frets. So our 1st finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the low E string, our 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the A, and our pinky on the 5th fret of the D string. It should sound like that. So we're going from the D to the G. And we do that twice. So we have the D, the G, the D, the G. And here's where it changes. We then go to a C. The C is directly below the G. So we're just going to take this shape down a string. Our 1st finger being on the 3rd fret of the A string, our 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the D, and our pinky on the 5th fret of the G. It should sound like that. So after that C, then we go to an A, which is if we go back to the first chord we had, it's just up a string from there. So our first finger should be on the 5th fret of the A string, the low E string, sorry. Our third finger should be on the 7th fret of the A, and our pinky finger should be on the 7th fret of the D, okay? It should sound like that. And then one last chord, we go back to the first chord, which is a D. So our first finger on the 5th fret of the A, third finger on the 7th fret of the D, and our pinky on the 7th fret of the G. So now let's discuss strumming pattern. We're going to have one down, and then we're going to have 6 other downs fast. So down, 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 down. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go to the next chord. And you do that D twice. So, do that with me now. After the first chorus, we get back into this intro piece, and after you do the intro twice, we stop and we're going to play a solo. The solo starts with our first finger on the 7th fret of the G string, and if you can pull it off, we're going to want to have a pinch harmonic right there to start us off. Then after that, we're going to have our third finger on the 9th fret of the G, then you go back down to the 7th fret. So the first little piece will sound like this. Do that with me. Then after that, we play the 5th fret of the G string. We're just following the melody here. Down to the 4th fret, back up to the 5th fret with our middle finger, and then back down to the 4th fret. So you have this. I'll do that slowly. One more time. Okay, do that with me. Okay, then right after that, we take our hand off and we play the open G string. Okay, so we have this. And then right there, with our third finger, we're going to play the 4th fret of the G string again. Down to the 2nd fret. Okay? Do that with me. Then right there, we're going to play the open G string again to the 4th fret of the D string with our third finger, up to the 5th fret of the D string twice. So we have this. And right there, we play the 5th fret of the D string downwards 2 more times. Okay? Like that. Do that with me. Then right there, we start kind of over and we play the open G string and slide up to the 9th fret with our third finger to the 7th fret again. So we have this. Okay, and then again, we're going to go back down to the 5th fret of the G string, down to the 4th fret, so. And then you go from the 5th fret to the 4th fret one more time. So in total, so far, we have this. Last little piece here, we play the D string open, and then we slide up to the 9th fret of the D, down to the 7th fret, then the 4th fret of the D string, to the 5th fret twice. And that's the end of the solo. Now I'll play the entire solo for you. Feel free to play along. Okay, so after that, we have another pre-chorus, another chorus, and then we play the intro, and that just kind of fades out for the outro as well. And that, my friends, is how you play Island in the Sun. If you have a song request, comment it. If you wish to be notified of future videos, hit that bell. I sincerely hope that you're well. Please do me a favor and hit that like button blue. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe too. I hope this video has been a blessing. You've been watching Logan's Lessons.